everyone, welcome on back to my channel. My name is Iris and this is my Loc journey. I'm currently 36 months locked, and to be at this point is pretty impressive to me because I hesitated so much to start this journey because I had fine hair and I wasn't sure if it was going to be a successful journey. So it did take me a while to build up the courage to start this journey. So to be at 3 years now, it seems like it just went by so fast. And I know that's crazy because in the beginning of our journeys, it seems like everything is going in slow motion. You feel like, where's my length? Is my hair ever going to lock? And I feel like somewhere between year 1.5, everything just starts to take off and you start to not really focus on the length, and it kind of just naturally happens. At least that's what happened for me. So I did start July 27, 2020, and now here we are at July 27, 2023. I feel like I definitely should have started it much earlier because I absolutely love my journey, love how much my hair has progressed on the journey. And it just goes to show that you're really not sure how something's going to turn out based on, texture or hair density. You kind of just have to take that leap of faith and go on the journey for yourself to see what you're going to get. And it may be something that you're actually happy with. So this year has been the year of me realizing that my color was causing a problem. And I didn't think that it was at first because the first 2 years, everything was fine. I really didn't see any major issues, but then this year it started with the thinning at the end of my locks. And also I realized that I have so much lint trapped in my locks, and because I do color my hair, it's being covered and not really seen. So earlier this year, I realized that the ends of my locks were thinning. I did cut them off as I, saw them starting to thin, and any weak points that I found that were detrimental to the lock, in my opinion, I just cut it off. Now, I've been cutting the ends of my locks, and I know that that is not always the best idea because, of course, the ends of your locks are where your locks are locked, and they can start to unravel from that point where you cut them. But for me, I just feel like it's hair and it's going to grow back, so I'm not really worried about cutting the ends of my locks, but I did start doing that to try to kind of compensate for the fact that I realized that the thinning was happening, and to try to save the locks that I noticed it was happening on. I just decided to get rid of the ends that were no longer progressing in a good way. So I've been doing that, and then with the lint issue, I just decided that it is what it is. And even though I did start brushing my locks, I realized that I probably had a lot of lint embedded in my locks during the beginning of my journey, and I just didn't realize it. And it just kind of progressed from there. And of course, brushing your locks does help, but if the lint is already embedded in your locks, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. So I still continue to do that, but of course it's only surface based. So I can only save, or remove the lint that's on the surface of my locks. I've been very tempted to go in and try to doctor some of my locks and pick out the lint, but some of them are completely locked and it will just be detrimental to do that. So I just decided I'm just going to keep, coloring and trying to cover it that way so it's not really seen, and just deal with it from this point on. So I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and get closer so I can give you a 360. Okay, so now that I'm a bit closer, I did add some lock sprinkles to my hair, and I didn't go too crazy with it. I added a few here and there within my locks because it is summertime and I do like to add the lock sprinkles at that time. I also did add a few cowrie shells also, which I've done several times throughout my journey, so it's nothing new. Also, you can tell that my color is a bit different. I did go ahead and spruce up my color. I added a fourth color, which is this one here. It's Orange Blaze, I believe, by Adore. I've decided that I'm going to just not bleach my hair anymore. I am still going to color my hair because I do love the color, but I do realize that the bleach has become a problem, and with my locks and my fine hair, it's just not a good idea. And so I've been keeping up with the color just by using semi-permanent color so far, and if I decide to redo my roots again, I'm just going to go ahead and use a regular color without bleach and try to maintain it that way. But I'm having this 4-tone color, I guess you would call it. So there's one color here, it's kind of the, I guess you would call it the skunk stripe. So I have one here with the Orange Blaze. I have another color here, and this is the Adore Ginger. I also have this color, which is Cajun Spice. And then I've been keeping the same dark color in the back, which is Adore Paprika. So you can see the 4 different tones, and I actually love it. I don't know, this type of color, these fall colors, I've been loving on my skin tone and in my hair, so I've been deciding to just go ahead and keep it. I don't know how long I will keep up with these colors, but I'm happy with them so far. And as far as cutting my locks, it's been mostly this front section here, and you can kind of see it on some of them here that have the curly ends, as you can see. So I lost about, I want to say, an inch or less from each one of those. So the longest was about an inch, and the rest had probably less than that. I've been going at that and cutting those. I also just been going throughout my locks and seeing, like I said before, any ends that look crazy to me and I don't really like, I just snip them off. So I guess I give myself like a trim, if you want to call it. I know some people are against that, when you have locks, but to me it's hair and it will grow back, so I really don't find it to be a big deal. And as far as my newer locks, which I started later on in my journey, which are this one and these over here, I've been having a bit of an issue with this one because I don't know what's going on with my hair, but the top part, or this section here within the front, I feel like it's separating more. And I don't know if that's because my new growth is growing in, and of course it's not colored, but it's just beginning to separate more from the lock within this whole top area here. And I'm noticing that with these edge pieces, they separate a lot. So if I don't manage them as much as I should, they're starting to thin out. And I feel like that's what's happening with this one. So I've been a little scared here because I feel like right here it's getting extremely thin, as you can see from where it started. So I feel like I may have to maintain them a bit more than the rest of my hair. I am retwisting every 4 weeks, but I think I may have to start, braiding them or keeping up with them every 2 weeks. They are fragile because I've said this before in previous videos that after I had my last child, I feel like postpartum, I lost all of my edges, and especially here in my temple areas, it was hard for it to grow back. So this hair is very sensitive, it's very thin, it's very soft. So that's why I started these locks very late, because when I saw that the hair was coming back, I'm like, okay, so now let me start the locks here. There wasn't enough hair there before to start them. So I feel like it's just this little struggle area. So I kind of have to be careful with these edge locks here. So I just been noticing that even this one, I feel like I have to kind of keep up with, because I'm afraid it's kind of thinning out. And then I have to be careful that I'm not giving too much hair to my other locks, and make sure they have enough hair so they can grow and succeed. So that's the only issue I'm noticing with these locks here at my edge area. So I have about 5 or 6 of them, as you can see here, that are still progressing on the journey. As far as the locks that were thinning earlier in my journey, as you can see, this is how they were progressing before, and here's where I started managing the hairs growing away from my lock better with these so I could save them. And here's how they're doing. They're doing really good. I really don't have any more issues with these. The hair still separates here and there, but not as much, since I've been doing the braiding method to maintain the hairs growing away from my locks here. And like I said, I'm still experiencing a lot of separation up here, more so on this top or crown area of my head, and it's a little bit more tamed, I feel like, here, but when it gets closer to the front here, I still feel like I could get a lot of separation. The back is doing great. I really don't get that much separation in the back like I used to in the beginning of my journey, so that has been maintained in itself pretty well. I've said it many times that this texture in the top area of my hair is a different texture than the back area, so it's a bit more looser and a bit more thinner to me, so that's why I feel like this top area is suffering so to speak, because of, you know, the thinning from the ends, the separation from the hair going away from my locks. So it is something I have to be aware of and continue to maintain. And that's why I said, you know, everybody's journey is different. There are so many rules and things that, you know, are said about locks, but I feel like when you're on your journey, you have to figure out what's best for you. What's the best retwist, you know, maintenance time for you? Is it a month? Is it 2 months, 3 months? Whatever works best for you, you have to figure that out, because the standard may not be what's going to help you on your journey and help you save your locks. Because I feel like if I would listen to that type of thing and wait the 3 months or longer to retwist, my locks would be super thin and I wouldn't have, you know, succeeded as much as I have on this journey. Other than that, I feel like I have gained some growth, you know, within this year, as you can see, but I feel like it's an overall growth. I feel like it's not just a one and done. I feel like it's a different type of section type of growth. I feel like my shorter locks have taken off this year. I don't know what happened. If you're not new to my channel, I spoke about me having layers, because before I started my journey, I did give myself a trim. So my hair had a whole bunch of layers. And I felt like when I started my journey, I could see the layers and I could see how they were growing. And I was like, oh no, I may have to eventually cut my locks to even them out. But what I see that is happening is they're starting to try to even themselves out, which is crazy to me. As you can see, these used to be much shorter. These are my shorter locks, and I feel like they're catching up to my bottom or the back end of my locks, which were always the longest. As you can see, look how long these shorter locks have gotten, which is crazy. Even on this side, you can see how they're catching up to my longer locks, which are the darker section here. So this year I feel like that has happened all over, even my bang area. Even though I've been cutting at it, I feel like it has taken off also. Still layered, still giving me that layered bobbish type of look, which I absolutely love about my lock. But I'm realizing that thought of you have to cut them eventually, I don't think that will be an issue for me because they look like they're just doing their own thing and they are starting to grow out and catch up as I proceed on the journey. And it's also making me feel like I look like I have a lot more locks than I thought I did, which I know I don't. I still have the same, I feel like I still have the same number of locks. I may have to do an updated lock count, but I don't know, since they've grown out and stretched out, it looks like I have a lot more fullness for my density. So it's kind of crazy, but if you go back and look at the past updates, I feel like it looks like I have a lot more hair on my head, which is crazy to me because I'm like, where did all this hair come from? But I feel like it's just the locks kept catching up with the length, and they're just starting to even themselves out. So it's kind of looking like I have more hair in my head than I thought I did. But other than that, everything has been going really well. I'm very happy with my journey despite all of these things I've discussed. And I really don't, like I've said before, I don't have a length goal. My hair is actually at a length I am very happy with. This is my favorite length so far. It's not too long and it's not too short. So it's at the point where I feel like I can definitely do more hairstyles. I can definitely do more things with it if that's what I choose to do. So I should have started it much earlier because me thinking that it wouldn't be successful because I had fine hair was crazy for me to even think, because as you can see, that really didn't matter. But I just feel like you just have to take that leap of faith and just start the journey, because you never know what you're necessarily going to get, good or bad. And you may end up loving your journey and seeing that your hair can do more than you thought it could, which is what has happened to me. And I'm so happy that I decided to continue this journey. I don't know how long I'm going to be on it. It feels like forever, but we will see as I continue to progress on my journey. So that is pretty much it for my 3-year lock update. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye, guys.